Not one more American life should be lost because our lawmakers failed to secure our borders. We are calling on Congress to fix our terrible immigration laws, stop catch and release, to end deadly sanctuary cities, to stop the visa lottery program.
I'm skeptical as to whether he truly wants to deal with immigration reform. I know he wants a wall.
Donald Trump is clearly more interested in creating a political mess to amplify his own electoral agenda.
So you're saying there's a chance. Democrats reacting to the president's immigration plan that he will lay out tomorrow, but we have some of those details tonight. First, on the border security part of this plan, build the new wall, modernize points of entry, stop drugs trafficking, human smuggling, close loopholes in the asylum law. Lindsey Graham has a separate bill just dealing with that. Expedite the asylum process, quickly moving those with illegitimate claims out. On the immigration plan, employment, most immigrants are now admitted because of family ties. They want to change that to a merit-based system. 57% admitted based on employment and skills, 33% based on family, 10% admitted on humanitarian or other grounds. Education, age, English proficiency, all part of the equation in that point system. And it is a crisis, the former Homeland Security Secretary saying again.
We had 100,000 apprehensions or encounters in the month of March and another 100,000 in the month of April. That is the equivalent of the population of the city of Orlando, Florida, showing up on our southern border in the course of 2 months. That creates a crisis.
Gives you perspective. Let's bring in our panel. Tom Bevan, Real Clear Politics co-founder and president. Susan Ferruccio, chief congressional correspondent for the Washington Examiner. And Jonathan Swan, national political reporter for Axios. Susan, ambitious plan, laid out different points. In reality, on Capitol Hill,
no, not much reality there in terms of whether it will pass. But what it is laying down a marker for Republicans. If they can get unified behind this type of deal, it will give them a starting point for negotiating with the Democrats. You'll notice if you look through that, none of it addresses the things that Democrats would want in the bill.
Namely DACA, the Dreamers.
The 11 million illegals who are already here, other immigration issues that they want to address. But what it does tackle, though, are some really key points that Republicans have wanted, dealing with the visa lottery system by eliminating it, making it a more merit-based system. And the most important part were those two bottom bullet points that you just showed, which were expediting asylum seekers back to their home countries and making it more difficult for getting rid of the magnet for illegal immigrants to try to get to the border here, which is part of the reason why Jay Johnson was just saying you have this massive surge at the border. The asylum laws are making it very attractive for illegal immigrants to try to get in this country because they know they can get released and then stay here.
As I mentioned, Lindsey Graham has a targeted bill on just that he thinks he can get bipartisan support on if they want to deal with this. Take a look at our new polls. The approval rating for the president overall, 46%, staying right about where he was, 53% disapprove. And on the issue of handling border security, matches up with his overall job performance. And on the issue of handling immigration, takes a little tick down, obviously hammered by Democrats on a number of fronts. Jonathan.
The most important thing about this proposal is that it fundamentally changes the way we think about immigration. So it flips on its head. Typically, we take the bulk of people based on their family ties. This completely reverses that, and it looks at skills and education and the idea that Jared Kushner will be selling to Capitol Hill. Part of it is an economic analysis. So he has Kevin Hassett, who's one of Trump's top economic advisors, produce this analysis which shows you'll get more tax revenue because these are more educated people. But Susan's right. The thing here to bear in mind is this is a Republican proposal. Jared Kushner's been taking around a PowerPoint presentation. It explicitly calls this a Republican plan in that. And they haven't been talking to Democrats. They've been having Republicans in there. So expressly, they've admitted this. There's no, bones about it. This is a Republican plan.
Which Jared Kushner plan has more of a chance of passing? Immigration with Congress or the Middle East peace plan with Palestinians and Israelis?
Two intractable problems. She knows how to pick them, right?
Tom.
We also released a poll today, Real Clear Opinion Research, which listed immigration was third out of 6 issues in the minds of the American public as being important. Healthcare was number 1 at 36%, economy 26%, and then immigration was at 15%. So it does have political salience right now, and it has been an issue, and it will be in the 2020 elections. The problem is, not only do Republicans need to get unified, but it also, Democrats are offering no solutions. To paraphrase our colleague Molly Hemingway, orange man hates brown people it's a partisan argument, but it is not a policy solution. And so Democrats really aren't coming to the table with anything, and they control half of Congress right now, and Congress writes immigration laws.
Does Lindsey Graham's narrow asylum bill have a chance?
Not with Democrats, because once you open up the immigration portal in Congress, the Democrats
issue overall,
correct. Anytime you open up that legislation to debate, nothing will pass unless you're bringing in the whole kit and caboodle here. You got to get in the Dreamers, all the other undocumented immigrants here. Democrats are not going to play ball unless they get a lot of what they want at this point. And that I can't see that happening in an election year. The Supreme Court is still weighing in on the Dreamers. At this point, there's no true motivating factor despite this crisis on the border.
But the more you pack into the bill, the more there is to attack, and it fractures. And we've seen this historically. It just doesn't happen. Congress can't pass something that big without it being picked apart.
Can I revise?
Yeah.
Middle East piece.
After hearing this, I want to ask you, is it still the case, do we think, that Donald Trump's reelection plans are going to be on the economy, if it's still cooking like it is now, immigration, not being socialist or socialism, and maybe late-term abortion?
I think that's pretty accurate. The other part of it, which we forget, is a big part of Trump's rhetoric, no matter what on the campaign trail, is whatever cultural issue is bubbling up, the next kneeling in the NFL or whatever he sees to kind of divide the Democrats. But really, Trump's campaign style is very personal. He's going to find their weaknesses, their personal weaknesses, and amplify them. He doesn't like talking, even though, yes, he will talk about the economy, he gets bored when he talks about it. And he says this to his staff. He's like, I know you keep telling me you want me to talk about the economy, but my people don't like it. So it's this very visceral feel that he has for his crowd. And that's why, during his campaign, it was build the wall. It wasn't, 2% GDP growth. I don't think you're going to see that. I'll be honest with you.
He likes saying boot edge.
Joining us tonight, Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Texas, Dan Patrick. Governor, good to have you with us, and it's good to see you.
Always good to be with you, Lou. It's good to be with you.
Hey, let's start with just the crisis there in Texas on that border. I never thought we would say it that way, but it truly is.
It's a crisis.
Your sense of what's going on and what should be done.
I think I heard you just say that there were less than 4 million babies born in America, the lowest level, a few moments ago.
Correct.
I think you said 3.9. Lou, this will stagger you. We will have more people enter our country illegally than were born in this country in 1 year. We're on pace, Lou, to apprehend 1 million people crossing into this country illegally.
Right.
Any law enforcement person you talk to, Border Patrol, local sheriff, our state police, they will tell you we catch 1 out of 4 or 5. That means if we catch 1 million, Lou, 4 million others have crossed the border illegally. That's more people than are born in this country. I was with you in June of last year, live on your set,
right,
when I told you that it's not 11 million people here illegally, it's over 30 million. And about 3 months later, there was a report put out by MIT backing up those numbers in a different report. Lou, we're near 10% of our population is going to be here illegally. People from Central America who are not educated, not prepared for work. We cannot educate, medicate, and incarcerate the whole world. It is the crisis at a level that I've never seen before. Last month, Lou, from Brownsville in Texas on the Gulf to San Diego, about 60,000 families, children and adults came in, 30,000 single men. It used to be most single men, and now it's mostly families, and 60% of those come into Texas.
And those people, in many cases, are either transporting drugs, those not apprehended,
yes,
and in many cases are simply a decoy so that others can. The cartels right now, is it fair to say, the cartels right now have a greater control over that border than does the United States.
They have a total grip on the border. Lou, if you came down here even 15 years ago, a lot of people cross the border on their own, coming looking for work.
Sure.
They come upon, the ranches along the border. People leave out water for them, maybe a little food, no issues. Today, those people who are just trying to come here and look for work, and they shouldn't come here illegally, we need legal immigration reform. Those people, if they cross the border and they get caught by the drug cartels, they will pay a severe price, maybe a beating, maybe worse, because the drug cartels are controlling who crosses the border. They make a lot of money smuggling drugs. They make a lot of money smuggling people.
Right.
So what the Border Patrol knows, but we have to respond, is the cartels are sending all of these people into crossings and other areas where we have Border Patrol, forcing our Border Patrol to leave their area, and then right up the middle, like if it were a football game and, the offensive line opens up a hole and the running back comes through it, then that's where they send the drugs, and that's where they send all of their coyotes with all the people they're smuggling into the country. And, Lou, it's not just Central America. Today, the people coming from Mexico are less than 20% of the people crossing. It's Central America, but it's also China. It's the Middle East. It's Brazil. It's Venezuela. They're all coming. They're all coming, Lou, and the president is doing everything within his power, and Congress and the courts are stopping him. We're making progress on the wall. We're building more fence, but we have to have a barrier across that wall, and Congress and the judges need to get out of the way of the president of the United States to defend this country.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Governor. And I also think certainly most Americans want that border secure, this nation secure, as the president is working hard to do, as you say. Today we have at least a first look at a proposal. Perhaps it's the beginning of a conversation. Perhaps it's the beginning of legislation. Your thoughts about what he's proposing right now, I guess, as well as Senator Lindsey Graham.
Yeah, I like what the president's proposing and Lindsey Graham. We had a call, our office had a call with the White House yesterday on this proposal. And the president is taking a full approach to this. It's not just the barrier. It's the laws we need to change. It's, as Lindsey Graham said earlier, I think I heard in my earpiece on the tape, of sending people back to these other countries. If we catch you from Mexico, we can turn right around and send you back. We can't do that to Central America. That's stupid.
Yeah.
But here's the problem. The Democrats, Lou, are not going to do anything to help this president.
No.
They don't want to give him a victory.
Yeah.
They are deniers when they say it's not a crisis, and they are deceivers, because there are some Democrats smart enough to know what's happening, but they're lying to the American people. The Democrats, the congressional Democrats, say in Texas, they know what's happening. They go down to the same border that I go. They see what's happening. They come back and say it's not a problem. And so they're deniers, deceivers, and I would say it's borderline treasonous when you're selling out our country.
Well, I think it's just treason when you sell out our country.
Yep.
Governor Dan Patrick.
And that's what's happening.
Great
Thank
to
you, Lou.
see you. Thank you.